Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ayyuhan nas ya Habib. Peace be upon you in the mercy of Allah and His sanctification, O beloved people. Al-Yawmu Sabtu. Today is the 7th day to the idolaters' Saturn day. Astaghfirullah. Today is a day in which Saturn's energy is accentuated. Saturn is really the key to true abundance. I will explain that. Saturn is in Aries, 1 degree Aries at the time we'll be recording this. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is in 6 degrees Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in 19 degrees. No, the moon is in 19 degrees. The moon is in 19 degrees Leo. Mercury is in 2 degrees Leo. Mercury and the moon, both being in Leo, are ruled by the sun. The sun is in Cancer, 3 degrees. And the Cancer is ruled by the moon. So it goes Saturn, Mars, Mercury, Sun, Moon, Sun. So ultimately, the Sun and Moon are ruling each other, so they're in mutual communication. However, today we're going to talk about Saturn. Saturn being in Aries, Saturn is the planet of restriction, discipline, limitation. Aries is the sign of leadership. Therefore, it's a restriction of leadership or leadership of restriction. This is positive energy for those who have ears to hear, and eyes to see. Because Saturn is the true abundance, and it's easy to prove it. I'll prove this to you real quick. A storehouse or a warehouse houses what? Many, many, many things. Abundance that stays is lasting abundance. Abundance that comes and goes is actually lack. What good is having a lot of things come in and a lot of things go? Imagine you get food into your house. As soon as you put it in your refrigerator, it's gone. But you keep having food, just, recycling, keep coming in, but as soon as you put it in your refrigerator, it's gone. It doesn't matter how much food comes into your house, you would see that as lack. You wouldn't see that as abundance. Now, if you had a lot of food to come into your refrigerator and stay there, then you would see that as abundance. Most people, when they think of abundance, rightfully so, they think of a lot of things staying put, restricted, limited to where they are, not going anywhere. A lot of people look at Saturn negatively. Oh, restriction, I don't want to be restricted. Okay, cool. I'm traveling via conveyance right now, automobile. Not technically driving yet because I'm not on a job, so I'm traveling. Imagine this conveyance with no Saturn. What are you talking about, Massey? Yeah, imagine this conveyance with no brakes. Mars, Jupiter, you got the acceleration. You don't have any brakes. You have the ignition and the acceleration, no brakes. Saturn exists. You will stop. You'll stop because you're going to crash. You're going to crash into something, and that will stop you. That would be Saturn having to stop you instead of you using Saturn to stop you. Saturn forcing itself to stop you instead of you using Saturn to stop you. Saturn is good. A lot of people say, oh, well, the cube. And no, I don't pray towards the Kaaba. That's idolatry. But I do understand the significance of the black cube. Hence, I'm recording through a black cube right now to talk to you. You all look at a black cube. We all been looking at a black cube called a TV, movie screen, what have you. It's black boxes, all in this conveyance, and any conveyance, anything you can think of. It stores the energy. Most of you who are fortunate enough, alhamdulillah, you live in a house. That's a black box. Yeah, sure. You could say, well, it's not black because it's covered up and my house isn't technically shaped like a box. Well, when you go into that room, it still has a rectangular shape. Still angular. All boxes aren't square. So it's still in a box shape, right? And the blackness represents absorption, because a box or a cube naturally is going to absorb all of the energy in it. That's why when somebody passes in a house, the jinn, not the person automatically goes back to the Most High who made them. The jinn copy the energy of the soul when it passes. Solar residue. They copy that energy, and people swear up and down that they're talking to the loved one. The jinn just laughing at you like, it's just funny to me. I just had a thought. I'm always thinking, people think, oh, my ancestor told this. Half of the time they can't remember in life what something was to tell you it, but all of a sudden when they die, they just have perfect memory. Nope. The Torah let us know what that is. It's called familiar spirits. Jinn. They're copying the energy and the memories and all of that of your loved ones, and you're talking to a jinn. There's no medium. You're talking to a jinn. Best person to talk to, or if not a person, is the best ultimate to talk to is the Most High. Anyways, back to Saturn. Restriction is very good. Restriction is excellent, because restriction allows you to get stronger. Restriction allows you to see things more vividly. Clear is in the ear, so clearer would be hearing, proper use of the word. You can see things more vividly. Vision, vivid, right? So Saturn, represented by the shape of the cube, you can use your right angles at 90 degrees, right? 90 degrees is a challenging degree. Why? Because it calls for compromise. It calls for a stopping. When you get to the corner, right, there's a stop sign. At least there should be. On all four corners, right? Square, cross, right? The grand cross in astrology is where you have two opposite angles at 90 degrees, right? 180 degrees this way, 180 degrees this way, creates 90 degrees this way, 90 degrees this way, 90 degrees this way, 90 degrees that way, 490, 180 degrees. They call it grand cross, but you can also have the grand square, right? Where you have planets that are at each one of these angles. Here, square here, square here, square here, square here. I actually have a grand square and a grand cross in my natal chart. And some would say that means you have a very hard life, and you have a challenging life, and I guess I do have a very challenging life. But I'm also very fortunate, because there are people out there with way more challenges than me. Right? I'm here in America, I'm automatically rich. Automatically. However, I'm going to teach you how to use Saturn's energy. Restriction. Whatever you can restrict yourself from. Saturn's energy being in Aries at this time means to take the initiative in limiting yourself. I should have fasted today, but I already have my pineapples. So, always eating fruit. Therefore, today would have been a real good day to fast. I wasn't thinking. I'm going to work a long day anyway, so. But, yes, take the initiative to limit yourself, to structure your day. Structure every single day. Let your day review in your head what you can remember. You don't have to burst your brain, but plan your next day. Even if it doesn't go as planned, right? Because inshallah, Allah, we plan, and then Allah makes plans, and Allah is the best of planners. So, but the act itself of planning your day, structuring your day, stopping to think, stopping before you act. Saturn is ruled by Mars. But this is good because Mars is in the calm, cool, calculated sign of Virgo. Doesn't really like to be there. However, it does aid Saturn's energy. It makes it less impulsive as opposite or other than before when Mars was in Leo and tensions were running high. I knew that this time would mellow out and moves would be more calculated. So Saturn in Aries, Mars in Virgo, actions are calculated. So when you structure your day, calculate your actions. This is ruled by Mercury in Leo. Mind, attention, attentive perception. Really hone in and pay attention to what it is. Be fully immersed in the moment of what it is that you're doing. Right? Leo is the sign of attention. Be very attentive with your mind. Be very attentive with your communication. Ruled by the sun. Sun is your sense of purpose, vitality. Sun is in Cancer. Cancer is anticipation. What are you anticipating? Please anticipate vibrant days, positive days, favorable days, right? Kulli halin ya'malu l'salihin. It's Arabic for all conditions work in my favor. Let that be your mantra for the entire month of Cancer, or sun cycle, right? Month is month, right? The entire solar cycle of Cancer. Every condition works in my favor. Why? Because you have Jupiter that's also in Cancer, conjunct the sun. So everything, if you anticipate it, it will work in your favor. This is manifestational energy that you can use. A lot of people talk manifestation, but they're not going to tell you how to do this manifestation with astrology. For now, you only get that here. Be it before it. Anticipation. Cancer. Anticipate. Be it before it. Shout out to Eric and the Power of I Am. Check out that YouTube channel. A lot of what I say here will make a lot more sense if you watch that channel. And I promote people. I'm not in competition with anybody because, like he says, I'm all that is. I'm love. I'm perfection. I'm always chosen. I'm everyone's top priority. No one is better than me. No one compares to me. I claim it. And it is so. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So, Saturn, limitation, leadership. Take the lead in limiting yourself, structuring your day. Act in accordance with planning, meticulousness, pay attention to the details. Mercury, also be very attentive with what you're thinking. Control your thoughts, be attentive with what you're thinking, and be fully immersed in the thoughts that you're having. Leo, showy, on display. I naturally or natively have Mercury in Leo, so this energy time I can definitely relate to. All the world's a stage. That's a Leo quote, even though it's used by the Masons, but that's Leo energy quote. Go back to when we were young. Play pretend. Be who you intend to be in your mind. Moon in Leo. Feel that in here, in the heart chakra. Leo rules the heart, in the back, in the spine, in the spinal column, in the nervous system, going up the spine. Not necessarily the brain. Gemini rules that, but the spine and the nervous system attached to the spine, the spinal cord. Leo rules that, right? And all of the vertebrae and all of the back muscles, up until the lower back, that's ruled by, or co-ruled by Libra. So you're going to get a lot of good astrological knowledge from me here, and manifestational knowledge, and Moorish knowledge, and Aboriginal American knowledge, which is the same thing, and metaphysical knowledge. So, you have some sacred geometry with the cube. I didn't really go into numerology. 1 degrees, Saturn, 1, which is the 2nd degree, because the 1st degree in astrology is 0. So it's actually on the 2nd degree, where you can use the 1 energy, right, of Aries. It correlates, even though 0 is the 1st degree. But the 2nd, balance. You need to balance that energy out. 2, Libra, balance the energy out. Venus rules 2. Venus is in Taurus. Taurus correlates to 4. Right? The moon is in 19 degrees. 19 is karmic number for the abuse of power. Reduced to 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune in Tarot, which is spiritual rebirth in numerology, which reduces to 1. Look at that. So when it reduces to 1, that's that 1 energy that can be used with the Saturn that cycles back to the lunar energy from the sun, which is in 3 degrees. 3 represents Leo, so there goes the Leo, Cancer mix, right? 6, what's the 6? Mars is in 6 degrees. Virgo, 6 correlates to Cancer. Here we go. So that's the numerology energy for those readings. And that's all for today. I love speaking with you all, encouraging you all, keeping you all positive. We're strong out here. Saturn makes you strong. When you work out, Saturn and Mars tearing your muscles up. Pluto regenerates the muscles after you destroy it. So you could also say that Pluto is also destroying, right? So you have the Mars, Saturn, Pluto. When you're actually doing the workout and resting, Saturn is bringing structure, and Pluto is rebuilding the muscles after you work out, right? So Saturn is bringing that structure, and your structure is strong. Saturn rules over Capricorn, which rules over the skeletal system. Aries rules over the head. So be careful, with your head, or people can be prone to headaches during this time because of Saturn in Aries. However, Mars being in Mercury reduces that. I said Mars being in Mercury. Mars being in Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury, which is in Leo, reduces that a lot. Until the moon moves into a different sign, then you're going to have to watch out for that too. But it's about to move into Virgo, which can lead to the headaches until it moves out to Libra. So that's just something to be on the watch out for. This was a really long one. So I'm going to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Iyyah al-nas al-habib. Wa ta'an.